The Minneapolis trolley tours are. But now there's big news. The Kind of Like Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Looking for something different for family fun, a night out with friends, or your next team-building event? Try the escape rooms at Lilliput. Step into the haunted mansion, race to find a cure in the bunker, or survive Night of the Wolf, all with just 60 minutes to escape. It's private, immersive, and perfect for groups of all kinds. Book your adventure now, spots fill fast. Visit lilliput.net and see if your team has what it takes to escape.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 67, then Friday, sunshine with a high of 84. Summer is here, so have a night to remember with dinner and a show at Crooner Supper Club. Crooner's is located in Fridley on Highway 65, just north of I-694. Check out their concert schedules and dinner menus at croonersmn.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us, share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Before we get going here, I just wanted a quick note. Last night, we had really quite the really emotionally charged set of one-question readings by psychic medium Debbie Romero. I want to remind you all that these episodes, including the one that we're doing tonight, they're all available on all sorts of platforms where you get your podcast from: Spotify, iTunes. You can also get them off of YouTube. Greg Bakun, GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun YouTube page. All these great locations to listen to these episodes, past episodes, especially, stuff like last night. It's such a great reminder for people to know who kind of are on the peripheral of the paranormal that we all love the ghosts and spirits and the stuff that kind of goes creak in the night here. But it's also about making sure that we use these gifts to help people understand that, that we can connect with loved ones and we can really calm people and make people feel at peace. And that's what last night was all about. What tonight is all about is a little bit different, because as a paranormal investigator, if you tell me that there is a location that you can't get into very often, but they're going to open the doors for you, and you can get tickets, take part, and be led by very seasoned and very competent paranormal investigators. As a paranormal investigator myself, I am interested, especially if the location is of historic interest, especially if this place does not get opened up very often because it's used for all sorts of other creative purposes. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Once again, seasoned and very very good paranormal investigators that I've had the pleasure to know for some time. David and Alysia Leonhardt. We've known each other, all three of us know each other for years. And they have the incredible opportunity to lead people on investigations at the historic Theater in the Round. And they're joining me tonight because they're going to not only talk about what's going to be happening here and when it's going to be happening, but when they did it last year, what happened last year, and some of the stories from there. And just real fast, I also want to just point out, it's always nice when you start a show and you have people who are just lined up saying nice things about the show. You have Jason saying he hit the like button. Johnny Vortex is saying that it's a good day for some GhostBox Radio, and it is a good day for some GhostBox Radio because here we are with David and Alysia Leonhardt. Welcome to GhostBox Radio.
Thanks for having us, Greg.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Now, Alysia, I just got to remind you, you are on radio. So waving when I say hello and you say hello back, waving back doesn't really quite work. Yeah. Okay, just want to make sure we understand what we're doing here. Okay, no, that's good. First of all, how has the year been for paranormal investigating for you two? Because you two run this group called Our Paranormal Escapades, and if I'm not mistaken, kind of what this is all about is really it just kind of shows us where you both are going and the different adventures that you are taking part in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we formally started Our Paranormal Escapades about 4 years ago, and it's because we were filling our Facebook feed with our adventures, and we have a lot of people that we're friends with on Facebook who just aren't, they're just not into it. Yeah. So we were looking for a way to separate our private passion. So it is a way for people to follow us around, and we've kind of expanded it beyond that point. But this year we've probably done, I bet we've done at least 10 investigations this year so far.
That's really good. That is fantastic. And where we are we did this last year. We talked a little bit about the Theater in the Round investigations. I am so happy to hear that you all are doing this again. Could you tell us really what this is about this year?
Sure. Well, last year was kind of getting everybody's feet wet. It was the first year that Theater in the Round had allowed paranormal investigations to take place. They had a psychic walk through the building in the past, but there was never like a formal public investigation. So a couple years ago, we were there, and we were lucky enough to meet the director, Larissa, that's right, and set the groundwork for last year's event. And last year's event went great. We reached out to see if she was interested this year, and we're going bigger and better this year.
Now, Larissa was on with us last year when we talked about it. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, Larissa was kind of on the fence of actually taking part in any of these investigations, wasn't she? Did she ever do it? Did she do it?
No, she hung around a little bit.
Come on, Larissa. Come on. That's the thing. It's like, we've done this at some investigations where I've seen people get, and I get it. Trust me, I get it. If you have a preconceived notion of how things are, plus the fact that you don't know what's going to happen when it happens, they're not working on our time. So there's a lot of unknowns here. I totally get it. But I also feel like that when she experienced it, I think she would really like it, quite frankly.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure she told us that her daughter was really interested when she heard that we were doing it, if I remember correctly. So I'm really hoping maybe that they'll join us this year. We did have a few employees who did join us on last year's investigations, and they had a great time. So, hopefully that continues again this year.
That would be nice. Now, I want to kind of go through some of the logistics, and we'll do this throughout the program as well. For people that want to take part, can we kind of go through the timeline here of how everything's going to work for this investigation in terms of tickets and when it's actually happening and all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So the tickets are going to go on sale next Tuesday, August 11th. The link is going to be live at 1 a.m. So for any late owls out there, you can definitely get a jump on that if you want. Mm-hmm. But that's when the tickets will go on sale. They're going to be $75 a piece. And there are going to be 2 sessions on Sunday, September 27th. There will be a 6 o'clock and a 9 o'clock, and both of them will be 2.5 hours. So you can buy one, or you can double up and buy both.
Because sometimes one is not enough, and I'm not being facetious when I say that. I mean, it's especially when you're going to kind of prime real estate in a place that doesn't get looked at very often. Now, last year you had 2 different type of events, right? You had the investigation, and didn't you have like a tour walkthrough or something?
Right. The theater was hosting a haunted walkthrough of the theater where they would tell stories, some maybe slightly embellished, maybe not, of things that have happened around the theater and, the neighborhood area. Once that got done, then they were released to us, and we would take them on a hour, probably about an hour 15, hour and a half long investigation of the theater.
Now, you do stuff. I do this at my events all the time, where there's like 20 people here, and I'll look at them before we get started, and I'll be like, probably maybe only 13 of you are going to make it through the night. Do you ever do anything like that? Because I think it's really kind of sets the mood for.
We played it kind of low key last year, being the first time that we had actually hosted an investigation there, and there were a lot of people who had not investigated at all. So we didn't want to scare them too much. This year, who knows?
You got to scare them. Here's the thing. In my experience, I feel like that they get it. Trust me, no one actually believe they're going to die. Okay, let's just be. That's what. I mean, they didn't say so. At least. What about? So this is a milestone year for Theater and Around, isn't it?
It is. Will be their 75th year, or the 75th season. So they're actually kicking that off. They're going to be doing all plays and shows based on and connected to Minnesota. And they'll be launching with The Great Gatsby.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was seeing what's available, what's going to be out there. And yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. The Great Gatsby. That's I see that there. That's coming up. Yeah. How cool. I mean, it looks like that's starting the 11th of September. And so they can go for tickets, all tickets of everything. It looks like you go to Theater in the Round. It looks like Theater in the Round. I don't know if this is is it theaterindaround.com? Is that what it is?
.org. Theaterindaround.org.
Because I have a strange URL on my page, and I think sometimes when you go like through certain things, it kind of changes up. But
sure.
To get to the main page, though, it's theaterindaround.org.
If you Google it, it'll show up.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think the thing that we kind of bypassed here a little bit that's really important is this is one day, 2 investigations, one day. Seating is very, very, very limited. Investigating is very, very limited, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a one-time only deal this year. Like I said, it's going to be back-to-back investigations. I don't have the exact count, but I think it's going to be between 15 to 20 slots available per investigation. So very exclusive.
And that's just it, because you don't want anything much bigger than that, right? Because it gets. I mean, because the thing is you don't want to dilute the investigation with so many people, because it's bad. It's sometimes bad enough when people don't realize they need to be quiet and stuff like that and whatever. Yeah. But yeah, to do that is perfect. And once again, it's because tickets go on sale on the 11th of August, 1 a.m. The link goes live. So if you want to do this, you need to act on it, because my guess is that these tickets are probably going to go pretty quick.
Absolutely. Last year, I know that it was completely sold out. I want to say 2 weeks before the investigations. And this year is going to be a bigger event. So I anticipate them going much quicker.
I can imagine. And I know that there's people probably out there that are just like, oh, I'm not thinking of spooky Halloween-y sort of things. You know what? Think of it always, right? Never stop thinking of it.
All year long is spooky.
Well, isn't that something how, like, the 3 of us, right? I mean, this is our lives, quite frankly. I mean, so there is never a spooky season for us, is there?
Absolutely.
I love it. And so and people, it's funny when people don't quite understand that, which is fine. I'm not knocking it, but it's like, someone said to me the other day, they're like, they called what I did a hobby. And I had to respectfully correct them, because I'm like, for me, it's not a hobby; it's a way of life. And
the hobby is the job that funds this piece.
It's funny. It's a necessity to be able to fuel what we're actually put on Earth for. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what it comes down to. You know what I think I might want to do? I think I might want to take our break a little bit earlier here, because what I want to do is I want to make sure that when we come back, that we can talk about what happened last year, some of your favorite parts of the investigation, or you talk about some of the other stuff you're working on as well, or been to as well. How's that sound?
Sounds
good.
Let's do it. Don't go anywhere. We're going to come back with David and Alysia Leonhardt. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned, community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstonempls.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Looking for something different for family fun, a night out with friends, or your next team-building event? Try the escape rooms at Lilliput. Step into the haunted mansion, race to find a cure in the bunker, or survive Night of the Wolf, all with just 60 minutes to escape. It's private, immersive, and perfect for groups of all kinds. Book your adventure now, spots fill fast. Visit lilliput.net and see if your team has what it takes to escape. And I just want to remind folks that that you need to go out to Roseville, get your real roast beef sandwich from Mavericks this weekend. If you haven't done so, it's going to be a nice day. Go get a nice sandwich, get some nice food over off of Lexington and Roseville. Then go over just kitty corner in the parking lot. Go to Sprinkles, which is also owned by Mavericks. Get yourself some ice cream, like real ice cream. It is delicious, really, really high quality soft serve. It's a great way to spend a Saturday or Sunday, and it's a lot of fun. So if you haven't done so, go to Mavericks Real Roast Beef, and that's just, once again, on Lexington in Roseville. You're going to really enjoy it. Also for the Pillsbury Club investigation that's happening tomorrow night, that is going to be led by Char Savoy and myself. We don't have that many tickets left. When I mentioned it a couple days ago, we still had like about half of the tickets left to sell. Now we're down to very few left. So if you are considering doing so this weekend, please go to MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com. It's from 9 to 11 tomorrow night. It's a fantastic investigation, and every time it's very different. And if you're unable to make tomorrow, we're every other week out there, and trust me, I'll make sure I remind you about it. But I also want to remind people, and this is what's great, when we have so many things going on that's paranormal related, it really shows that people are very interested, and there's a lot of room for a lot of different diverse sort of events going on. And that's why I am talking with David and Alysia Leonhardt about the investigation going on at the Theater and Around. It's actually going to be on September 27th. There is there's two investigations. You can go get tickets for one or both, but tickets go on sale next week, which would be Tuesday. Isn't that right? August 11th is Tuesday. Yep. And from there, get your tickets, because I think we're all in agreement that this is probably going to sell out pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
That's definitely the hope. It's all about raising money for the theater. So the quicker we can sell out, the more likely they'll have us back again. So sell those tickets.
And I'm just going to be honest, you're not going to be in better hands than David and Alysia. I mean, you both are wonderful investigators. It's always fun to investigate with the both of you. And I love the fact that you're going to be able to really share your experience and lead some people around and show them kind of, number one, how it's done, but also be able to have these great memories with them. That's really cool.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And once again, also make sure that you go and follow them on Facebook, Our Paranormal Escapades. They have a Facebook page. They also have a Patreon, patreon.com, Our Paranormal Escapades. And you can find it there. And it's going to be, it's a great way to see how paranormal investigators work and all the stuff that they're doing to, I'm on their page right now. You're putting up some evidence review, and you're doing a bunch of other things on there. And it looks like a lot of fun. Ooh, Mabel Tainter Theater. Oh, over in Menominee. That's a good place.
Yeah.
Did you investigate there?
We did back in 2019, and we're trying to get in there again, but we were just there in town, so I just did a little video outside that time.
I probably shouldn't say this out loud. When you go into the kind of the greeting area where the all the pictures and stuff are, and they have that what they call famous picture of the lady in white, the ghost.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I took one of the people who was working there aside, and I showed him how that was done. The person
that's okay.
That's one of the things that we truly believe in is, if it can be debunked, you got to debunk it. Don't just put it out there just to have something out there.
Yeah.
No, and it just. But I said, your secret's safe with me. And now 20,000 other people. So yeah, okay, yeah, really, really, really good. But that's just it too. It's like listen, it's all in fun, really, quite frankly. And they're not making money off that picture. And they, for all we know, I could be wrong. So, but I'm not. Anyway, let's talk about last year. And can you share some of the stuff that happened in the groups last year? Anything that really kind of stood out?
Well, both nights were really active last year. We investigated 2 locations last year. We started out in the main auditorium, the theater, and then we went up to the rehearsal room. Both these locations had previous activity reported, so those were the ones we decided were the hot spots. The auditorium, while active for the group, wasn't as active as the rehearsal room.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite stories from last year is we started out in the auditorium. It was on the second night, and we asked people, okay, who is okay with having a spirit touch you? Because we wanted to get that out there, get that out into the environment. And we had a number of people, raise their hands, and then a number of people who did not. And so we went upstairs, and after about probably 10, 15 minutes,
Maybe 10, yeah.
Yeah, somebody said, I'm feeling really cold right now. And the woman he was with said that she also was. So I said, okay, are other people feeling cold? And other people said they were feeling cold. So I asked, okay, whoever's feeling cold, please raise your hand. So I think 5 or 6 people raised their hand. And then I said, now, if you did not give a spirit permission to touch you, lower your hand. And the initial couple lowered their hand faster than I could possibly imagine. They clearly were not having it. So, we addressed the spirit in the room, and after a couple minutes it dissipated. But we did make sure we went around, we checked for, air vents, obviously, because that's the first thing you're looking for. There's a door on the second floor, so we're looking for a draft, and we weren't able to debunk it. Was it paranormal? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I wasn't able to debunk it though. So
between the two of you, what's your threshold of how easy you both are to accept something as evidence? Are you pretty good at being like, I feel like this is, or do you really give it the kind of the I really need to do everything I can to try to debunk it before I add it to something that could be evidence?
I think it depends on the environment we're in. So something like this, that part of it is we want people to have fun. So
Right.
if it's obviously not something, we're going to call it out. But anything that's kind of borderline that I might normally be like, maybe not, I'm going to let them laugh about it and have fun with it. But if we're investigating by ourselves, it's a much firmer, this, I can't. This does not seem like that's what we're looking at. I think we're looking at something else here. So I think in our personal stuff, we take a little bit of a harder line with it.
I think you really raise a good point, Alysia, is that, as these are fun, these are meant to give people an opportunity to understand like what it's like to communicate with spirit, and you never know what's going to happen. But if you're doing like, say, client work for an investigation or something like that, it is approached very differently. But we also, I think we're in agreement. We don't make any qualms about telling people that. Right. I mean, we're not trying to get people to be like, oh yeah, this is how it, but it's like, we do want you to experience it. We do want you to have fun at the same time. And I think it's a really good point, because you don't want to ruin the day by someone being really excited, you're not sure, and you're like, yeah, it's probably not, it's
right.
Like, why am I here then? So yeah,
exactly.
Did you get anything at any of the, because you also did investigations prior to the events, because you're kind of trying it all out and stuff last year. Did you get anything that you felt like might have tied in directly with known history about the theater?
We did, actually. One that actually was really surprising to us. We had been working with the spirit box, and the name Frederick had come through during the investigation. Interesting name, not something that you'd normally hear, on the radio. Yep. So we took that as a possible communication. And during the night when I would address Frederick, he would ding the dead bell that we had. Oh, nice. So it seemed like Frederick really enjoyed the dead bell. So we were having a lot of back and forth with that. So when we went after our 2 investigations that we did beforehand, we met with Larissa to, show her, here's what we came up with, and so that she had an idea of what to expect for the public investigation. And we told her about Frederick. Well, she didn't say anything at the time, but I got an email from her the next day, and she said that she was talking with one of the other board members, I believe, who brought up that one of the original founders of the theater was named Frederick. Now, the theater wasn't at that location at the time. They had been in a different location prior to this building. And she was not sure if he had actually, been in the current building. But the fact that, Frederick tied into the history of the theater, we found very interesting.
Well, and I think, we all know that you don't have to be in that building. I mean, it seems like the connection is Theater in the Round itself, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Theater in the Round has been going, even though it might have switched locations, it's been going consecutively for 75 years, right?
Right.
Correct.
Yeah,
I mean,
years.
It's the longest. It's longest in the Twin Cities,
yeah.
if not beyond. I don't remember, but I do know in the Twin Cities, it's absolutely incredible. And what's great about this, it gives you both kind of also a kind of a way to kind of break the ice this year too, by asking for Frederick to come through or something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's so much other history to the building itself. I mean, even predating the theater that, we tried to expound upon, during our investigations. But Frederick was the one that really seemed to pop as far as being able to identify. We had plenty of other activity, but that's the one we were able to tie directly to the theater.
Do you know how old the building is?
The building was built, I've got it right here. I had it right here. 1910, 1912.
Ooh.
Right in that area. It started out as a multi-use building that had businesses on the bottom and apartments up top. And there was a fire at that point, and I believe 5 or 6 people are believed to have died in that fire. And then after some time, and I don't know the exact years, it was purchased by Bimbo's Pizza Emporium, or maybe Bimbo's, but Bimbo. So Bimbo's Pizza Emporium. And
are you sure it was a pizza emporium? Anyway,
that's what they say. But it was actually a popular music club back in the 60s, and I think the Trashmen played there. I think the Yardbirds played there. So a lot of local bigger bands had played there. But then they had a fire. And then they did not reopen. And then the theater purchased it in 1968.
That's right. Now, when you ask questions and when you're doing your investigations of the building, do you kind of stick it around the period of the time that the theater is there, or do you try to get any spirits that goes back as far as the building was constructed?
Well, we did reach out trying to, go back to people who might have been living there in the apartments, or who had, been there when it was the Pizza Emporium. But the biggest reaction we got was from theater. And, we've talked over the years, I'm a big theater proponent, and
that's true.
We very much believe, even before we got into the paranormal, we believed that, energy remains in the theater after a performance, after a movie. Everything that an audience is putting out, that's sticking around. And I think that's why the activity is so high there.
It's such an interesting point. I don't remember if we talked about this last year, but to me, it feels like, it's a prime candidate also for like the stone tape theory, because, for those who don't know, stone tape theory is if something happens, they always say traumatic, but I don't think it has to be traumatic. I think it's all about energy, right?
Yeah.
And a theater is all about energy. It's all about energy. And the idea is that energy is implanted onto mainly like the bricks and whatnot of the building, and then it creates a residual effect of key moments of whatever that is. Did you see anything that might look residual, or is everything pretty intelligent that you like in terms to you that was happening?
Well, there was this one thing, as the saying goes.
Residual
in the. Well, it's kind of hard to tell. Maybe not residual.
I mean, I don't know that we saw or heard anything personally that seemed residual, but they have a lot of stories about how on Sunday mornings, when the theater's not open, but they're there working on sets, whatever, in the men's bathroom. Yeah, the men's bathroom, you can very clearly hear a woman singing a hymn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
So we did investigate one Sunday morning, but we did not. We did not get to hear
Yeah.
it, but I would say that's probably residual. If that really is happening, that would be a case for that.
Do you think David needed to start it off with him singing a hymn first?
I don't think that would have helped the situation.
Well, and here you're in a perfect position because not only that, I mean, it hasn't been investigated. The theater hasn't been investigated since you both did it last year.
Right.
Right. So now if you go back, and when you go back on the 27th and you pick up stuff that you remember happening a year ago, then you'd be like, oh, maybe there is some residual stuff there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we will be going back one time later this month to kind of, warm it back up, as it were.
That's a great idea.
Just kind of, and plus, we want to make sure that we have the logistics of the way we want the investigation to run. So we're kind of going to do a mock run through of that. But otherwise, that'll be the only time it's been investigated in 11 months. It's been between the publics.
Kind of a interesting question, because I can understand the answer both ways. Like you said, there was a couple fires there. When in any line of questioning, do you try to reach out to anybody that may have been affected? I don't mean necessarily killed by them, but affected by the fires, or is that something you're just kind of like, that may not fit into what we want to kind of keep the overall mood of the investigation?
When we first investigated on our first night, I believe, not the public, but when we were doing it on our own, we did bring up the fire in the apartments. Just trying to get a sense of who might be there. Mm-hmm. Since we didn't really get any real reaction to that, we didn't pursue it any further, I don't think, beyond that, and pretty much stuck to the theater then. We try to keep it light.
It's kind of hard, isn't it? And I think it is. Maybe you both disagree, but I mean, because it is something that happened, and I think about like the Pillsbury Club. There is in one of the rooms on the second floor, and a lot of those rooms on the second floor are combined by a small, like a bathroom or a hallway, and in one of them there is a safe, and the safe was said that it was installed when the house was built, but there was a seminary after the Pillsburys left, and the story goes is that two boys playing around, one boy locked the other boy into the safe, and then ran off, and whatever happened, and by the time they got back to open up the safe, because the other boy inside couldn't get out, mm-hmm. he suffocated. Yeah. And I bring this up because I had the Ovilus out, and I was talking about this. And there's a lot to talk about the club. So it's like, do we talk about this sort of thing? But I brought it up, and I had the Ovilus out, and the Ovilus, a word then appears on the Ovilus, and it was gasp. Mm. Yeah. And it's like, whoa. And it's it's like, geez, do you, because you don't want to sensationalize it, right?
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever when we're investigating, if the investigation leads down that path, we might dip a toe in, a little bit, and just because you don't want to ignore if they're trying to get a message out. You don't want to just ignore that because it makes you uncomfortable. But on the same token, we don't. We try very hard not to say things like, how did you die? Things like that, because, you don't want to bring that energy in. So, if it doesn't naturally go that way, we generally try to keep it lighter.
Yeah. I like to ask kind of some open questions of, if there's somebody else here who would like to speak to us, what do you have to say? And kind of like, then if something comes from that, but we don't usually introduce it into the conversation, with the exception of, like David said, that first night that we're trying to just feel things out.
Sometimes, though, like at Pillsbury, it's interesting because the third floor is off the hook, as you both know. The second floor, sometimes is a slow start. And so sometimes you're just like, oh, my God, what do I... what do we? I'm running out of things here, and that's really interesting. Also, when you've done these investigations at Theater in the Round, has anybody else's like non-theater, non-building or area specific, but catered towards any of the guests, any like spirits related to the guests show up at all?
To the guests, we don't think so. We do have one that likes to follow us around, and they showed up very much the second night investigation. So, but we
follow you from location to location in your escapades.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We've encountered them in several different locations. We believe we know who it is. And so we just, gently told them, this is not the time, we'll have our conversation later. The guests did not, the guests wanted to hear everything that they had to say, but being a more personal nature, we decided, not to go that route.
I get it. I don't. Well, and for me personally, I don't want to be the center of the attention for an investigation. Exactly. That's not. I see it enough in the field. Yes. I don't. That's not what I want to be. Yeah. But at the Divine Lights investigation, the last one we did, I back in the day, I used to always get on the spirit box, the name Robert would come in all the time, and it hadn't happened in probably about 4 years. And then at Divine Lights back in July, it started coming through. It started coming through other devices, started coming through other spirit box, and I, it'd come through, and it was very clearly for me. And it was kind of strange because people are like, "What do you mean? This is somebody who follows you around, and you don't know who he is?" And I'm like, I really don't. I have suspicions, but I don't know. So yeah, it's weird, right? And that's right. And I could only imagine when they're like, "Oh, what do they have to say? You got a spirit? Do you even know one?" And you're like, "No, not here.
Nope, not today.
Not today."
It's like listening in on somebody else's phone call,
It really is. I want to take a break here, but once again, before we head off to break, we're talking about an event that's going to be happening on September 27th. Investigating Theater in the Round, that's going to be led by David and Alysia Leonhardt. And this is just 2 investigations on one day. You need to go to theaterintheround.org to get your tickets. Tickets will become available on August 11th. And David and Alysia, if you remember, can you please send me a reminder if I forget, and I'll happily put in on our pages as well to get people, because, here's the thing, to be able to go into places that you do not get access to very often is such a gift that if you want to check these things out and also support, and that's the big part, support Theater in the Round, because all that money goes back to them, and there isn't a rich theater. Okay. So they need the money. Yes. And they do, this is only part of what they do. They do amazing shows. And during the period that you're doing the investigation in September, they're running The Great Gatsby. So you gotta check it out. Support. We always talk about support. So please do so. So let's take a break here. Come back. We're going to have more conversations with David and Alysia Leonhardt. If you have questions for them, and it doesn't have to be about Theater in the Round, but if you have questions for them about their investigations and where they've gone, they're a breath of information here. Take advantage of it. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis Trolley Tours are. But now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Moonstone Minneapolis is a queer-owned, community-focused gift shop in South Minneapolis centered on curiosity, connection, and self-discovery. Explore astrology, tarot, crystals, herbs, mindfulness, and spiritual practices in a welcoming environment for all backgrounds and experience levels. Located at 3304 East Lake Street in Minneapolis, Moonstone Minneapolis also hosts makers markets, classes, and community events. Learn more at moonstonempls.com and discover a welcoming place to explore with curiosity and respect. It's that time of year where the weather is getting nice and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lily Putt is open for the season, and you know what that means. Lily Putt is known for its mini golf, go-karts, glow golf, jump pads, kitty carts, gem mining, and even a new arcade. Lily Putt also has interactive and engaging escape rooms like the Haunted Mansion, the Bunker, or Night of the Wolf. Lily Putt is perfect for parties and group events. Stop by lilyputt.net for more information and hours of operation. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We are doing a replay for Casual Friday as I'm going to be out at the Pillsbury Club, but there's a brand new episode on Monday where we will be having on as our special guest, Char Savoy. You may have listened to Char on other radio programs, such as this one, where we are going to be talking about an upcoming event that she is putting on, but we're also going to be sharing some of the stories of some of the stuff we've encountered on some of our investigations at the Pillsbury Club and the Swenson Family Farm. We have an event at the Swenson Family Farm coming up on August 29th. And I have been putting out information on my socials. Monday, we'll talk about it much more in depth because I've already been talking about our investigations way too much tonight as we're going to be focusing here on Theater and Around. But check us out on Monday. It's going to be a great program. Once again, as I just said, David and Alysia, they didn't invite me to be a part of any of this.
We did last year. Come on down.
They're doing the event over at Theater and Around. Once again, you can get tickets. They go on sale for this paranormal investigation that is taking place on September 27th.
27th, yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure I got that right. And you can start get tickets on Tuesday, and I recommend getting them early because they're going to sell out probably. I don't want to say, but I think they're going to sell pretty quickly here. Going to the comments, do you know Johnny Vortex?
We've never met him. I know of him.
So Johnny says, sounds like a great time. I'll donate some gear if you need it.
We're always open to gear.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to get a hold of him, I can help facilitate that. I mean, it's pretty easy. Go look up Johnny Vortex on Facebook. But sure. I'd be happy to help in any way. But he's always been doing some amazing work for equipment and whatnot. And we also have one of his VIP REM pods at the station, and they took part in our investigation a couple weeks back. So, yeah. I think it's going to be fun, and you should really talk to him and see what he has in mind.
Yeah,
now,
absolutely.
And Andra, you say they don't know that they are dead. Are you talking about David and Alysia, or are you talking about were you talking about something specific that we were talking about? I'm just kind of curious because I left that comment a little too long. I'd love to know what you mean by that.
This is the best interview if we are.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is what all paranormal investigators like want is like not just like snippets of words, like a full hour of stuff. I just changing gears here real fast, and this is quite the extreme change here. But I would be amiss if I didn't bring up Chris and the Tilted Tiki, especially as you both, like myself, really we patronaged it quite a bit. We knew Chris, knew of his, what was going on with him, and kind of sat through and watched it all unfold, hoping that it would get better, but it didn't. Once we knew what was going on, it seemed very unlikely, unfortunately.
Right.
I do have to say I was a little surprised that the Tilted Tiki closed, though. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than I don't possibly know, but that's a shame. It's too bad.
Yeah, that's a real loss to Stillwater. That's for sure.
It really is, and that's, folks, to remind you all, that's in the Grand Garage in Stillwater, and we had done a couple live investigations from there, and that place in particular is off the hook, that whole building. And we got some great stuff because Chris was kind enough to let us in for one of our Halloween episodes and investigate the Tilted Tiki. I mean, the whole place is just vibrant with activity.
Yeah, we've never had the opportunity to investigate there, but I mean, you're just walking from the Tilted Tiki back to the bathroom in the back of the garage, you could just feel the energy in that place.
Yeah. I'm walking past Midwest Witchery and Healing. You're going to run into all that as well. And I had the real fun opportunity of investigating the basement on a separate occasion of the Grand Garage, and that was, and I was with people who were skeptics because they do a sports podcast, and one of the guys I knew, I worked with at Best Buy Corporate. And he's like, "Come on and talk about your ghost stuff." And I'm like, "Okay." And we go down, and we're in the basement, and one of the K2s start going off like crazy, and they're all excited about it. And I said, "No, hold on." I said, "That's cool, but let's make sure that it's an intelligent spirit instead of just like some." So I said, if you're a spirit and want to get our attention, you're lighting it up to the red. Thank you, but can you stop and just light up to the yellow, which is the middle color on the K2. And so it was going up to red, and all of a sudden it just went to yellow. No. And that just blew their mind. They were just like, "Oh my God," and one is like, "There is no God," it just got really kind of crazy, but it was it was great. It was great. Andra says, regarding her comment, the spirits that we are getting a hold of, asking them about details of their death or the like, they might not know that they are dead, so we might not get a response from that. What's your thoughts?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, obviously, we don't know for sure what's happening on the other side. There's no way that we can. But I can imagine that if that were the case and somebody came at them and said, what was it like when you died in the car accident? They could react very badly to that. I thought I survived. I'm right here.
Not even that. It's not kind.
Well, yes.
So I like to be kind. So I don't know. I just announcing to someone that they're dead probably isn't the way that I want to go about that.
Well, I think if it were me, I'd be like, "Oh, that explains why no one spoke to me for the last 75 years.
I don't know. Bruce Willis didn't get it.
Yeah, he didn't get it. I mean, once you look at that and once you watch that, you're like, all right, now that's just that's where the film falls apart for me.
Yeah.
But I have to say also, we have about 2-3 minutes, something like that left. And a couple times within the last week, someone brought up Mounds Theater. And every time Even at Ghost Stories just yesterday, someone brought up friend Carla. She's like, when are you going out to when are we going to go out to Mounds Theater again? And I said, well, unfortunately, they've outpriced us, quite frankly. And I mean, and when they do, and I said, when people do that, when the organizations do that, locations do that, generally means they don't want paranormal, which I mean, that's their building. They have every right to do that.
Yeah.
But then we reminisced, we talked about the projection room with Red and David and Alysia, you both in there with me, and you knew Red.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best, like just moments of investigation that I've ever encountered, because it was so lively. It was so much fun. Yeah. And sometimes I wish some of the people who are so po-faced in the paranormal that they could take part in that, something like that, to realize that we can have so much fun with it. And Red was such a character. It was so great.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about having fun. In fact, we posted, we did do audio recording from that second night that I told you, that we were having all the activity. And during that second night, we, all kinds of equipment was going off. The REM pod, the tripwire, the dead bell, the cat balls, they were all going off. So I didn't record video, but I did have audio of it. And I decided to throw it up on our Patreon. I'm making it a public post just so anybody can listen to it. And you're not going to pick up on any spirits. You're not going to hear any soft whispers. But what you're going to hear is a lot of people laughing, a lot of people having a blast. And that's what we try to bring to the paranormal whenever we investigate.
Yeah,
absolutely. Once again, David and Alicia's group is called Our Paranormal Escapades. You can find it on Facebook, but also go look on Patreon, sign up for their Patreon. Signing up for Patreon helps everybody, and it helps these groups to be able to do what they do best. And really, it's worth it. Don't forget, theaterintheround.org. Tickets go on sale August 11th, and the event's September 27th. Plenty of time to plan. You do not want to miss it. As a paranormal investigation of Theater in the Round, David and Alysia, what a great night. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Greg.
It was great.
So good to see both of you. We'll be back tomorrow with Casual Friday, and Monday with Char Savoy. Have a great week.